life. What is going on, everybody? I am your host, Rafael Chairez. Thanks a lot for joining me today, Monday, April 9th, 2018. It is the Monday after WrestleMania. This is right before Raw, an hour right before Raw, so this is roughly going to go for about an hour. And I'm going to break down, talk about, and review this past weekend's NXT card and WrestleMania 34. And then I'm going to watch Raw after and see what they give us. The Monday night after WrestleMania is always a good one. And hopefully they have some call-ups. Hopefully they bring some people up from NXT. So let's get right into it. NXT TakeOver was in New Orleans the day before WrestleMania. I had to go back and watch it because I was watching UFC 223. But nonetheless, very good card. In many ways, I preferred over the WrestleMania card just because it gets down to the point. They have a 3-hour show, but every match is wrestling. It's not really nostalgic. Each match sort of tells a story or in some way has an interesting factor to it, and it's not just nostalgia to it. But first match of the NXT card was a 5-way ladder match for the new title that NXT's debuting. So for a while now, NXT fans have been kind of wanting a mid-level card title for the NXT. So you have the Women's NXT Championship, and you have the Men's NXT Championship, and you have the Tag Team Championships. That's it. NXT is only an hour-long show, so it makes sense. You don't need that many titles when you only have an hour a week to put on, but their pay-per-views are 3 hours long, so I guess that's why people want to see more pay-per-views. I don't know. Not more pay-per-views, more titles. I'm one of those that doesn't mind an additional title. But I'm not the one petitioning to have one either, but the North American title, I don't know too much about it. I believe it's an old title back in either the WWF days, but I'm not too sure. I would have to go back and look into it. But yeah. So they're fighting for the newly crowned, or for the new title that's going to be in NXT, because I don't think the European title really counts as a mid-card title. I think they're introducing it more, and it's been defended there a couple times, but it was decided last year through a tournament. So it wasn't. I wasn't too sure if it was just going to be European talent that was going to have exclusivity to that title, meaning that they were only going to defend it in that promotion where they held the tournament where, Europe has their best talent focused on right now. Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, I forget the other guys' names, but the European, I wasn't too sure whether the European title was just going to be defended over there. And it was smart how they did it at first. They kept it over there, and it kind of seemed exclusive to Europe. So you can't just name it a European title and then just exchange hands with everybody. you kind of have to give, if you're gonna name it the European title, let the Europeans fight over for a bit. I get it. Let them have their title. Bring it over, because the European title before was this is the UK title, sorry. So the European title before was anyone could hold it. So, I believe that that's going to be the plan with this title, because Roderick Strong's already challenged for it, but I guess they're going to have 2 mid-card titles. People were asking for 1 and they're getting 2. So we'll see what's up with that, because I know they're holding another European tournament just to crown the tournament winner, like the Dusty Rhodes Classic that they have. So we have Killian Dean, Lars Sullivan, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, and EC3. I hope I didn't repeat anybody. So going into it, we have kind of a feud building up between Killian Dean and Lars Sullivan, them being the 2 big guys in NXT that aren't in a tag team. Well, Killian Dean is, but he's been making a singles run as of lately. And they come in feuding, but it's a 5-way ladder match. But that's the mini feud that's coming into the title match. And then you have the debut of Ricochet into the NXT promotion, which is awesome. I'm very interested in seeing Ricochet a lot more. I've seen him as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. I caught a couple of seasons of that, the early seasons. So I saw a little bit of Prince Puma and stuff like that. So it's going to be awesome to see him here and see how he interacts with the talent here. But the guy's so good. He has good matches with anybody. He's one of those guys that they could put on a good match with anybody. He's got good chemistry, good high-flying skills. But they can't throw him to the big guys. Like, that's the problem. When they throw him to the main roster, they always throw these guys to the big guys, and they can't perform some of the same moves, and they have limited skill sets. But, I digress. So we have Ricochet, the debut of Ricochet, and then we have Adam Cole in this match as well. Adam Cole being the leader of Undisputed. Right now, Bobby Fish and Kevin O'Reilly are tag team champions for the Undisputed. So Adam Cole's actually he has to do double duty, because I think Fish is in. I think it was Fish that had the injured leg, like legit injured leg, so he couldn't compete. So Adam Cole's gonna have to fight this one, and then go on later on and try to defend the tag team championships against Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, which had advanced. Well, we can get into that, but they advanced into the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And then Velveteen Dream as well. We had sorry, I had a brain fart. We had Velveteen Dream as well in this match. He's really coming into his own. He's a really good wrestler, and he's playing a really good heel. Kind of that arrogant, like I'm the best, and he's very flamboyant about it. And he's a very good skill set, and that flying elbow, he hits it pretty well. Not as good as Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane has got the best elbow out there, but we had Velveteen Dream, which is a very good addition into this match. We get to see his skill set in the ladder match with these 5 guys and see what kind of chemistry they can all put together. So we had a lot of high spots in here, we had Ricochet, we had Velveteen Dream. I think at one point he hit his elbow, I think on Lars Sullivan from the ladder. That was towards the end of the match, though. We had Ricochet going for the belt at one point, and 2 guys trying to push him off the ladder, and he bails off the ladder and does a moonsault backwards and lands on 2 guys on the outside. It was pretty awesome. Let's see. What else can I remember about this awesome match? Like I said, they had a lot of high spots on the outside. Well, there was 5 of them. But for a while, we had a battle between, like I said, the feud between Killian Dean and Lars Sullivan. And NXT knows how to do it, so they they actually play out just them two going at it while everyone else is either on the outside or knocked out. You have Killian Dean and Lars Sullivan going at it. And they let these guys go at it for a while. They went at it for like at least half an hour. And I don't think people are going to be disappointed with Ricochet, especially when he gets called up to the main roster, possibly 205. He'll do great in 205 Live, especially the way they're developing that brand as well. It's good to see that they're actually getting a lot of talent that can be used in there, and maybe it'll attract a lot more people to want to go to the cruiserweight division, because I think Blake Murphy too. He's kind of making a resurgence in his career by going in kind of being like, all right, yeah, I fit into that cruiserweight role. I'm not going to beat the Brocks. I'm not going to beat the Bronze. But I do have a chance at winning a title here, a cruiserweight, and still being on TV and being relevant, because he is a good wrestler. So there's more addition of good talent into NXT, which will later be brought up within a year. Ricochet's in the main roster. All these guys, I don't know if I mentioned it, I believe are going to be main roster. Killian Dean, eventually when Sanity gets brought up, he's up there. Lars Sullivan is a huge dude. He's going to be brought up sooner rather than later. Probably today. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see after I'm done podcasting. But Lars Sullivan, if you guys don't know, his look, attire-wise, is generic, but he's like a big, gigantic guy. It almost looks like he's got gigantism, but not really. Like, he just has huge limbs, huge back, huge head, huge legs. He's just really, really big, like abnormally big, but not to the point where it's freakish looking. It's almost freakish looking, but not there. And he's got like an Amish beard too, so he'll get called up. He'll be good on the main roster. And then we have Killian Dean. Like I said, he'll be called up with Sanity when Sanity gets called up. Ricochet, I give him a year on the roster. Like I said, it was his debut. But he's going to do wonders. I could see him as NXT champion within the next 6 months. Pending some kind of feud, with somebody. He's got to get a couple matches and some wins, maybe a pay-per-view or two before they actually get him into the feud for the NXT title. We'll see. We'll see what they do with him. But I'm excited for Ricochet, or Prince Puma, as I saw him. Adam Cole's going to be a main roster guy, especially when they pull up Undisputed. When they bring him up, Kevin O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. That'll be a good call-up. Good addition to SmackDown. How I do my thing is Raw is kind of the land of the giants, and I use SmackDown as the roster where the guys are really talented, but I don't think they would get over on Raw necessarily just because of their size, but their skill set is far superior to just size, just needing size. And they have very good chemistry, and they could work the mics, so they do deserve their own title. And they have to put them on a separate show, because you can't have them facing Brock, because it's just not believable to some extent. Unless it's some kind of gimmick match. So, like I said, awesome match, a lot of high spots. These guys got to go at it for half an hour. And we thought Ricochet was going to win. Ricochet seemed like he was by himself. And then Adam Cole came in and pushed him off. And he landed on the ropes, hit the outside, landed on the outside, or hit the outside of the ring. Landed on the outside. Adam Cole was the only one available to get the belt, and boom, reached up and got it. And he is the first NXT North American champion. I'm pretty sure it has some kind of lineage. I don't know if WWE will continue the lineage. They have a Cruiserweight championship. The only lineage is from the Cruiserweight tournament, so we'll see. Awesome match to start off the card, and it'll be hard to top, but we'll move on. Good match, not as good as the first one. We had a five-way uh, five-way ladder match between all main roster guys. And then we had Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. Ember Moon defending her NXT Women's title versus Shayna Baszler, former UFC professional fighter, friend of Ronda Rousey, who just hit the main roster, had her first match at WrestleMania. Ember Moon really didn't get her chance to get the title early on. She had to kind of get it when Asuka took off from the promotion. So it's kind of been like, you got the belt because someone vacated it. So it's kind of been like a slap in the face. And I know it's because it was due to her injury and it was due to like just wrong time. It was the wrong time for her and to be injured like that. I thought they were going to give her the push and I thought they might have put the title on her around that time, but like I said, she got injured and she just never got it. She just never got it by the time Asuka came back and left and went to Raw, won the Royal Rumble, and then challenged Flair for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania, which we'll get into right now. Shayna Baszler coming in as the heel. Ember Moon coming in as the lovable face. So before this, we had Shayna Baszler pulling off some kind of... She's the MMA girl, so she uses a lot of MMA moves in her arsenal. But she was doing this thing where she stomps on the elbow and she has the arm resting on the mat. And so you try to do it again on Ember Moon, but Ember Moon kind of pulled it off on her, being a heel tactic. And it kind of showing that Ember Moon was going to pull off everything and anything she could in order to keep her women's title. And this was after a little bit of back and forth. So Baszler missing that move and Moon hitting it was going to be a focal point and later on telling the story of the match, of how this match was going to go, for the most part. So we have Shayna Baszler trying to lock on her rear naked choke, and we have Ember Moon trying to hit her Eclipse. I think that's what it's called. And then we have Ember Moon hitting her Eclipse from the top rope. Shayna being on the apron. Moon hits her with it, but doesn't get the 3 count, it being on the outside. It could have been a 3 count, but you got to get her back on the inside. You know, that's a good way to have her hit her finisher but not get the pin. So again, we have the story of the match being Shayna Baszler's wrist being stomped on. So we have an injury there. And then she tries to lock in her submission choke a couple times, but she just can't get it because of the injured wrist. And Asuka keeps on prying it away. And, not Asuka, sorry. Moon keeps it in my head somewhere else. Sorry, I had something coming in my head. Moon keeps prying it away because she injured it earlier, so she knows it's a focal point in order for her not to get choked out. We have her break out of it. We have them go back and forth, and then we eventually have Shayna Baszler lock it in again, and we have Ember Moon fighting it, trying to get out of it, unsuccessfully, trying to get to the ropes, trying to do whatever to make her break it. And she's fighting off the arm, but Shayna isn't letting go of the one arm that's good under the neck. And she's trying to clasp on the other arm, which is the bad arm, which is the one that Moon is trying to get away from her. So she doesn't get complete pressure. Eventually, Moon goes out because she can't get anywhere. And Shayna Baszler winds up winning the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, which is crazy. I didn't think they would take it off of Moon, but they took it off her pretty quick. And I'm interested to see where she goes from here. I don't know if I'm pretty sure they'll bring her up. Probably sooner rather than later. I'm guessing they did it to bring her up to the main roster, but that's weird that they would have taken the title off of her. I thought Moon would have kept it on longer, but unless it's to bring her up, that's why I'm guessing they took the title off of her. 13-minute match for these ladies. Shayna Baszler continues to grow over time. That's all she needs is experience and reps in there. So we'll see where she goes with Ronda being on the main roster now and her being a NXT Women's Champion not long before she gets called up. And then after that, we had the Undisputed Era tag team title defense versus Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong as a tag team, Adam Cole and O'Reilly as another tag team for the Undisputed, and then we had Authors of Pain, Tokar and Razor, I think are their names. I hope I'm getting that right. For the Authors of Pain. The reason it was a triple threat match for the tag team titles was because there was a Dusty Rhodes tag team classic. Every year they have a classic. I think this was the third annual. Authors of Pain won it the year before, so they were going for a two-peat. And then we had the weird team, the fan favorite of Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, that made it to the finals against the Authors of Pain. They put on an incredible match, but the Authors of Pain Undisputed Era comes in and interrupts the match and beats them up, and they cause a havoc, which they did one time before that led into the War Games match between Undisputed Era, Sanity, Authors of Pain. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think those were the only three tag teams in that. But they had done it earlier in that when they were attacking those two tag teams. It led to that match. So them breaking up the finals for the Dusty Rhodes Classic led to it being a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships and the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Classic Tag Team Classic, sorry. So we have a pretty good story coming into it. Like, NXT knows how to do it. If you guys aren't watching NXT, I would really recommend you guys watch NXT. They know how to really tell stories and kind of play them out longer, but in the long run, it makes more sense, and you kind of feel more fulfilled with it. You kind of want to see it more. They leave you wanting it more. Right away, Adam Cole gets put through a table. And he's kind of out of it because he had a rib injury after winning the North American Championship. So that's his story going into this match. So we have O'Reilly starting off really strong after this guy gets put through the table. It looks like he kind of knows how to throw kicks. You can tell he's holding them back because you can't go full force against these guys because you don't want to hurt them. But it looks like he has some pretty good technique. Like I mentioned earlier, Bobby Fish, I don't know his first name, sorry. But Fish, the guy with the curly mustache, I need to learn his name, is out with an injury. So we had Adam Cole step in. Again, Adam Cole put through the table. Rib injury from earlier in the ladder match. And we have Authors of Pain kind of dominating the match. We have everyone showcasing their skills to a certain extent, and I think we kind of get the notion that Authors of Pain are going to recapture, have a two-peat. I think that's what everyone I think is anticipating. Or people want Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne to win. But we get Pete Dunne hitting his finisher on O'Reilly, and he goes for the pin, but Roderick Strong comes in and interferes with it. Hits his move, which is kind of like a suplex release into the knees. I forget exactly what he calls it. But he hits that. Throws O'Reilly on top of fucking Pete Dunne. And O'Reilly defends and retains for the Undisputed Era. They remain tag team champions. They hold the North American NXT Championship. And then Roderick Strong goes ahead and takes the armband, which is kind of weird. So they offered him a armband earlier in the year, and he denied them joining the Undisputed Era. I like how it led to Undisputed keeping their titles, and it's going to lead into a good story. I like Roderick Strong, and it kind of gives him a little bit more character. I think it's always been kind of bland. I know they've been building his character very well in NXT. I don't know his character outside of NXT. It's besides it just being a good wrestler in Roderick Strong. Never really read too much into him. He came in kind of bland, but they've been able to tell a good story with Roderick Strong, and him turning heel and joining the Undisputed Era is kind of interesting. I'm all for it. Let's go. Undisputed Era. And then let's see what we got next. So then we had the Cien Almas defending his NXT Championship, Heavyweight Championship versus Aleister Black. Cien Almas heel, Aleister Black fan favorite. Right away, fast-paced match off the bat. They're both going at it. Aleister Black, he uses a lot of kicks, a lot of Muay Thai style, I would guess. He's from Amsterdam, so that's his gimmick, that's his character. He's a striker with some suplexes, some power moves, but not really the technician of sorts. And then we have Cien Almas, more of a luchador-esque style, but more on the power side as well. A lot of high-flying stuff. A lot of running stuff. And let's see. How do I want to get into this? So these guys had a really good match. Like I said, a very fast-paced match. Cien Almas right away going to the outside with Aleister Black, hitting moonsaults to the outside. At one point, Cien Almas tried to hit a moonsault from the top rope. I'm pretty sure he's done it before, though. Hit a moonsault, landed it on his feet because Aleister Black had rolled away, and then hit a moonsault from that position. So that just shows the agility and the abilities of Cien Almas. He's a really good wrestler, and I don't think he was able to showcase that because of his inability to speak English and kind of communicate to the crowd, and his addition to Selena has been tremendous, dog. He really needed a mouthpiece, and there's been nothing really better for him than her. He won the NXT title after acquiring her as a manager, and he's been on a straight trajectory up, and he got the title. I think he defended it against Gargano once. An incredible match of the year candidate. Might have been this year as well. But he's had some incredible matches as a champion, and they've been able to showcase him pretty well. I don't think people appreciate him as much as they should, but he's a really good, because he doesn't speak the language. And I think that's the barrier that Nakamura is having as well. But, so Aleister Black actually wins the NXT Championship, so we might see a call-up of Cien Almas to the main roster, probably on SmackDown, I'm hoping. But this was classic heel versus good guy. We have the way that Cien Almas is getting his way over on Aleister Black is by the interference of Selena, his manager. She's fine though, super fine. I'm telling you guys, if you guys haven't watched NXT, check it out, even if it's just to check out her. But she might be called up to the main roster soon and possibly be wrestling. I don't know. Maybe she'll just stay a mouthpiece. But we had her interfere a couple times. We had her do, I think, perform 2 hurricanranas. One a spike hurricanrana in the ring while the referee wasn't looking. We had her move Cien Almas' leg on the rope so he wouldn't get so Black wouldn't get the 3 count. But eventually we had her go on the top rope, jump to hit Black duck. She lands on Almas, and Almas is kind of holding her, carrying her. Black takes advantage of it and lands Black Mass, knocking her out. Or knocking him out, sorry. And getting the 3 count and him becoming the new NXT champion, which was inevitable. He came in super fan favorite. Huge pop right away. He's got an awesome entrance, and he's got a good move set of striking and some power moves. He's not getting called up to the main roster anytime soon, especially not with the title on him, so we'll see what's up. And then in the last match, we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. A little backstory behind these guys. So Ciampa and Gargano were very good wrestlers individually, but then they formed a tag team, DIY, do it yourself. They had a lot of success, eventually capturing the tag team champions. The reason they were given that opportunity to win the belts, I would say, is because, yeah, the crowd was behind them, but these two guys put on an incredible match in the Cruiserweight Classic. I think it was the first round where Gargano eliminated Ciampa, if I believe. But it was an incredible match. Them being tag team partners, after the tournament, after both of them were eliminated, they both went on to win tag team championship gold, eventually dropping it. And then at NXT TakeOver Chicago, we had Tommaso Ciampa attack Johnny Gargano after the match, after they lost. I think, who won that one? Did Undisputed win that one? No. I think the Authors of Pain won that one. I don't think Undisputed was even in that match. I'm not sure. I don't remember that one too much, but even though I was there. But I do remember Ciampa attacking Gargano at the end. But then we had Ciampa get injured right after. So he was out for a while. He had a leg injury. I think it was a knee injury. So it was a slow, steady build of Gargano challenging for the title, getting a lot of going on a losing streak, building back up, getting a title shot. And then we finally had Ciampa attacking him, coming back from the injury. And then we had the slow build to Gargano getting fired. Gargano getting another shot to face Ciampa, and if he wins, he gets reinstated. So that's because he was harassing Ciampa everywhere and anywhere before the show. In his personal life, he was just showing up everywhere and fucking with him. So Gargano wanted him fired, or he wanted it dealt with, and that was the way to do it in this match. They started off super fast pace. Well, you know, it's been a slow build, and they just all the pressure it spills into the crowd right away. And how fitting, right? They used to go and salute the crowd and kind of spend a lot of time in the crowd before going into the ring as a tag team, as DIY. Ciampa pulls up the mats to show that he's serious. He wants to hurt Ciampa, or he wants to hurt Gargano. These guys have an incredible match. They let them showcase each other, and at the end of the match, Ciampa is literally beat up. You can see his face is fucked up. They were literally going at it and hitting each other for real. These guys have really good chemistry. Them being a tag team, they have to know each other in and out very well in order to work with each other. So they worked with each other against each other very well. They knew their ins and outs, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. Gargano uses Ciampa's knee brace in order to submit Ciampa, getting the victory, satisfying the crowd by getting the face over the heel over a long feud, over a long drawn-out feud that made sense, that people wanted to see, that people really wanted, and they finally gave it to us. So that was really good. And then that was NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Really, really good card. You guys should go check it out. Let's see. Which one do I want to get into first? I guess I should pull up the card to see which one was really first. I think it was the Men's Battle Royal. Yeah. It was the Men's Battle Royal for WrestleMania 34. We had the men's battle royal starting off the card, and we had Matt Hardy winning the men's battle royal with the help of Bray Wyatt. He eliminated Baron Corbin. So we'll see what's up with that. That's kind of a funky storyline that people are kind of interested in to see kind of where it goes from there. And then let's see what we had after that. I think we had the Cruiserweight Championship match. Let me make sure. But we had the Cruiserweight. It should have been Cedric Alexander versus, Mustafa Ali. Awesome match. These guys always put on a great show. Awesome high flyers. Mustafa Ali trying to land his 540 splash. He landed a couple times. I don't know how he didn't get the pin. I forgot how exactly. These guys are being showcased a lot better. So it's good. But we had Cedric Alexander defeat Mustafa Ali. I think Cedric Alexander has more of a fan base with him. Mustafa Ali's been building a lot, but Cedric Alexander's where it's at right now. So he gets the win. He gets to be Cruiserweight champion after a tournament that they had. And it's awesome because they had the Cruiserweight Championship to crown a champion. It beating TJ Perkins. And then they had this one to crown the champion after all the fuck-ups between Enzo Amore, Neville leaving, and Rich Swann and his problems too, and him retiring. So we have Cedric Alexander getting the belt, and I think deservingly he needed it. Like, they should have given it to him a while ago, but they finally did it. Women's Battle Royal. I don't know what to say just because we just had a Royal Rumble. So the Battle Royals kind of, in my opinion, are kind of pointless. They get a statue, but it's only a 20-minute Battle Royal. We already saw these like in January, 4 months ago. So I'm kind of, one Royal Rumble a year is fine with me. And they're doing another one, like the biggest Royal Rumble ever. I don't know, it's kind of weird. They're really trying to build their fan base. I think it's in Saudi Arabia. I'm not exactly sure. And then in the match after that, we had Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus The Miz. The Miz defending his Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match. They had been building up this little feud between each other where they all would come in and interrupt each other during Miz TV or during each other's, promos, and they were getting one up on each other the whole time. Talking smack. So they finally put together the triple threat match. And it was a badass match. I always love seeing Finn fight. The Miz has really come into his own in recent years. And Seth, always a fan favorite, badass wrestler. Not a lot needs to be said about him. Seth Rollins becomes a Grand Slam champion, acquiring for the first time ever the Intercontinental Championship. So the Grand Slam champion being Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, USA Champion, and WWE Champion. So now it's kind of all weird where they want it to be, you have to be Universal Champion and WWE Champion. I don't necessarily take that into consideration. I think the Universal Championship is there because they have two brands. So they have to have two belts. I kind of see them as the same, but, just two different shows. I thought they were going to put it on Finn, but Seth wins. Onward. After that match, we had probably my favorite match of the night. We had Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. We have the belt versus the streak. Asuka pretty much being on a 2-year undefeated streak. Charlotte Flair being one of the best women wrestlers not only in the ring, but on the mic as well, in recent history, in my opinion. Especially them with the women's revolution and them letting them do not what they want, but letting them showcase their skill set and their abilities, and them show their talent. We get to see talents like Flair, Charlotte Flair, come into the sport. And Asuka's tremendous as well. Incredible wrestler. Wrestled with dudes in New Japan and pro wrestling, so she's had a lot of experience in New Japan. And she's been on a 2-year undefeated streak, so I didn't think they were going to end the streak. I thought they were going to give it to Asuka and put the title on her while she had the streak. You necessarily don't have to do it. She eventually will have a title. I do not see her not having a title. But it's awesome to see Asuka go over and do the job and put Flair over. Not that Flair needed it, but she went and respectfully, Flair being a legend and her being like, look, 2 years is 2 years. That's already a feat in itself. You can take it at Mania. I do not need the glory. I can win next year at Mania. I can beat someone else at Mania. I can have my WrestleMania moment. Here's your WrestleMania moment. Take the streak. The streak is just numbers. Have your WrestleMania moment. That's what really matters. Asuka, in my opinion, she'll get her moment. They had an incredible match. I think they call it the Spanish Fly is what the move that stuck out to me. Charlotte hitting it on Asuka. It was like it was almost like a DDT of sorts off the top rope to Asuka, but it was more an inverted DDT, kind of. They were kind of facing face to face, and Charlotte flipped with Asuka, and Asuka flipped as well, and she hit that move. That was a pretty incredible move, pulled off by both of them. Where did they go? They gave these girls 13 minutes. I think these girls should have been allowed to go a lot longer. It was one of the matches I was really looking forward to. With the time they had to work with, I think they did a lot, and they did enough to put on an incredible match, and probably my favorite match of the night. Flair versus Asuka. Then we had Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Rusev for the USA Championship. We have Randy Orton, I believe, was defending it. Yeah, Randy Orton defending his United States Championship, won from Bobby Roode at Royal Rumble? Fastlane? Might have been Fastlane. I'm glad they added Rusev at last minute. He needed to be in this match, seeing as how over he is with the crowd, and it being Rusev Day every day, and it being Rusev Mania. He needed to be there, especially in a good match, and it being for the U.S. title kind of made sense. I would have thought they would have put it on him, but they went ahead and put it on Jinder Mahal. It being Jinder Mahal's second major title on the main roster. I don't know if he won one on NXT, but he's been WWE champion and now USA champion. So I like Jinder. I think he plays a good heel. I know he's all juiced up, all steroided up, but fuck it, whatever. Who cares? Who isn't? Everyone's on steroids. Look at all the pro athletes as well. After the United States Championship match, we had Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. So, new to the roster is Ronda Rousey. She comes in signing her her paperwork or whatever, and it being a promo, leading into the storyline, where Kurt reveals that they just wanted to get one up on Steph and Triple H just wanted to be bosses to Ronda so they could boss her around after what she did at WrestleMania 3 years ago. So that's the storyline. So then we have a tag team match set up between both of them. Ronda Rousey coming out super sexy in a plaid skirt, paying tribute to Roddy Piper. And for it being her first match, she put on an awesome match. Awesome match. It was her first match, it being on WrestleMania. Her incorporating her arm bars, which is what she does really well, so it comes naturally to her to do it here. She definitely needs work. You can see where she's green. You can see where she needs help. But like I said, it's her first match at WrestleMania in front of such a big crowd. I know she's been in front of other crowds, but this is a different crowd. She's trying to win the acceptance of them in a sort. I know she has a lot of fans, but still, it could be a 50-50 mix. I think she put on a great match. She gets the win, tapping out Stephanie McMahon, putting an armbar in on Triple H. Triple H spent a lot of time outside. You know, he gave a lot of time for Ronda to showcase herself against Stephanie. And then he gave himself a lot of, well, not a lot, but he gave himself to be showcased on as well to get armbarred. So, Ronda Rousey makes her tap out, makes Stephanie McMahon tap out. That was it. They actually had a 20-minute match. It was a really good match. I'm telling you guys, check it out. They let Ronda Rousey really showcase her skills. She not only did a lot of arm bars, but she showcased her boxing. It's not the best in the world, but she showcased it here against Steph. Dropped her with like a liver shot. She did do some throws and some suplexes that were kind of weird looking because they were kind of judo-esque, yet had an element of WWE just because of the landing. She didn't really want to slam the ball. She wanted to make it look like a slam, but Steph had to receive it as well. And it could have been due to the fact that Steph is very green, that they didn't look as good as they should have. But who am I to judge, right? Who am I to complain? Onward. Ronda Rousey wins her debut match at WrestleMania. Awesome. Then we have the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos versus the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. The Usos being the defending champions. This was a quick match, guys. 5 minutes. Bludgeon Brothers really take over. They've been building them. They've been giving them a lot of squash matches. And they won in 5 minutes. So, it is what it is. They built them up really strong, really big. I want to see what happens with them after this here on Tuesday, but I think they're going to bring up a lot of tag teams. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see who they bring up from NXT. Authors of Pain would be a good addition. Then you have 2 big tag teams against each other, but we'll see. Big as in size, I mean. I think it's funny because the Usos were dominating for so long, and you have the Bludgeon Brothers kind of come in and just kind of dominate out of nowhere. But I don't know if they were in time constraints or whatever. Then we had John Cena versus The Undertaker. Yeah. I know I was not for this match. I love The Undertaker. I love John Cena, but I don't think it makes sense. I think The Undertaker should have stayed retired. So pretty much we have John Cena in the crowd saying he was going to be a fan, which he was, I guess. He was just chilling there. But one of the referees comes out and runs out and tells him that The Undertaker's in the back. And he doesn't know what that means. So John Cena, between the Flair match and Asuka match, runs out to the back. He leaves his seat and runs out the ramp very noticeably, letting everyone know, hey, tell your friends that The Undertaker's going to be at WrestleMania. So we have John Cena come out, kind of like, hey, where are you, Undertaker? Come out wherever you are. We have Elias come out after the lights go out and the crowd goes crazy. Cena beats up Elias. Cena's leaving, and then the lights go out again. And Taker's hat and coat appear in the middle of the ring. Lightning hits them. They disappear. And then we have the the dead man's music hit. Quick squash match. Undertaker gets the win. He should have gotten the win, but it was a quick match for all the build up, all the stupid shit that Cena had to do for him to get beat. And it was kind of stupid the way they told it too. Cena kind of just was in awe the whole time he was facing the Undertaker. So he never got in rhythm and he never could get into the feel of the match and he got beat right away. 245 by right. That's how right away I mean. Undertaker's walkout 100% took longer than their match. Return of Daniel Bryan versus Shane McMahon. They defeat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The stipulation of being if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they're fired. So I wonder how that's going to work. I wonder if Raw will just pick them up or if there's going to be the whole shake-up where they'll shake everything up and they'll probably go somewhere. But it's good to see Daniel Bryan back. I don't know if he's going to be GM anymore or if he's going to wrestle on SmackDown. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. That kind of that for me kind of dies there. I don't know where they go from there. We'll see. Alexa Bliss defends her championship against Nia Jax, and I think quite deservedly Nia Jax finally gets her belt. She finally gets the title at being at WrestleMania, she gets it on the highest platform. I think there was a rumor or a story where she had quit earlier on in the year. And she had been tweeting out where she found it unfair that SmackDown showcased all their girls and for a while and put on good matches with their girls. And Raw wasn't doing the same, Raw wasn't doing the same with their talent. But Raw had the extended time as in an hour longer show. They brought her back, and then they had her go through a storyline where she's Alexa's friend, and then Alexa starts talking shit about her. A couple of weeks ago, Nia finds out, and we have the fall apart. And then we have the lead into this match where Nia Jax gets her WrestleMania moment. We had this one kind of put together kind of slow. I guess if you see it where they were friends from a while ago and she's talking shit about her, it's kind of a slow simmer, a slow build. But ultimately, we get the payoff that we kind of wanted. And Nia Jax gets the moment she deserves. Then we had AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship, which should have been the main event, but it wasn't. It was third to last. These guys put on a great match. AJ Styles ultimately wins. Shinsuke Nakamura comes in, gets down on his knee and gives him the belt, gives AJ the belt, but then as soon as AJ takes it, he low blows him. These guys had a 20-minute match. They had a good amount of time, but so Nakamura's heel, I'm guessing. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that I'm just guessing Nakamura's heel now. Nothing bad against it, but we'll see where they go with that. We'll see, because he was such a fan favorite. But I'm down for an AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura feud for a while. I'll take it for a while. I don't care. Then we have Braun Strowman and a surprise partner, which wound up being some random kid, which wound up being not so random, which wound up being one of the referee's sons, taking on Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championships. You guessed it. Braun Strowman and the little kid win. They're going to drop him today. I don't see this going anywhere besides this. It was kind of a fan moment, and it wasn't really a fan moment if it was for this guy's kid, but who knows. And then in the main event, we have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Brock Lesnar defending his Universal Championship versus Roman Reigns, who won the Royal Rumble. And we had talks from Dana White stating that Brock Lesnar was going to fight in the UFC. So going into this match, you kind of have the idea that Roman Reigns is going to win the championship because he's been pushed down our throats for so long. He won the Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar's going to the UFC. So it's all falling into place for Brock to lose the title. Brock starts off the match suplex sitting Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes back with Superman punches to have a little bit of a back and forth between them. But ultimately, Brock coming out and getting the better of Roman Reigns. Towards the end, Brock hits Roman with an elbow that cuts Roman ridiculously. And Roman is showered in blood to the point where he actually touches his face and he looks down at his hand to see how much blood he has, and he's in shock. I think it was real shock, and if it wasn't, he played it off pretty well. But Brock Lesnar hit him with a nasty elbow, sliced up Roman Reigns, which led to Brock ending the match really quick. I don't know, due to the amount of blood that was caused due to the elbow or time constraints, which I don't think it was time constraints. I think it was due to the amount of blood that was coming out on Roman. And Brock defends and keeps the Universal Championship, which I don't think he's going to UFC, if that's the case. And I believe he signed a contract, a new contract with the WWE after his victory, because I know his contract was up. So there you have it, folks. WrestleMania 34 in the books. 7 minutes away from me. Raw after WrestleMania. I'm excited to see what's going to go on. If they're going to do a roster mix-up, or if they're going to announce a sort of a roster mix-up. If there should definitely be some call-ups from NXT. But I don't know if they'll save that for the mix-up. But I want to thank you all for joining me. All you guys that made it to the end. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot for subscribing and listening. For anyone that isn't, please subscribe on iTunes, on YouTube. I drop podcasts on WWE. I do UFC reviews on here as well. I do the results show after the card on Saturdays with my friend Jeff, the host of Average Joe's, where I do co-host duties with him on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Shows drop on Thursday nights and Tuesday nights for that, so stay tuned for those. Check me out on there. Subscribe to that as well, but most importantly, subscribe to the Full Heel Podcast on YouTube, on iTunes, on Podbean, wherever you get it, and everywhere you can get it. Leave a 5-star rating and a good review. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out the show. I really want to thank the Rewrites for being my friends, for letting me use their track in the beginning, for letting it be the music to the Full Heel Podcast. And thanks a lot. I love all you bitches. And thanks a lot, cocksuckers. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Life.